Protesters take to the streets tonight as they learn two Portland police officers who fatally shot a man last month have been cleared of any criminal charges. This is Koin 6 News at 4 o'clock. I'm Jennifer Hoff.
And I'm Dan Tilkin. A grand jury ruled today those officers were justified in shooting Patrick Kimmons in downtown Portland.
And the police bureau also released video of that shooting today. Let's go to our Lisa Balick, who's live where the shooting happened. And Lisa, you also spoke with the police chief one-on-one.
Yes, I did, and you'll hear from her in just a moment. Now, just a couple blocks down is where that shooting happened, and right now those protesters are gathered here on the next block outside City Hall. Again, it was Patrick Kimmons, 27 years old, who was shot by officers 9 times after they responded to a fight involving gunfire, and they see Kimmons was shooting at that fight. Now, we've also found out today that the police bureau released parking lot surveillance video from Southwest 3rd and Harvey Milk Street shortly before and after Kimmons was shot. You're taking a look at that video right now. Investigators say Kimmons had a handgun and had fired 5 shots, injuring 2 people in that fight. The video shows Kimmons running then towards the officers. The officers then shot him. A grand jury decided after hearing evidence that Sergeant Gary Britt and Officer Jeffrey Livingston of the Portland Police were justified in shooting Kimmons. Now, Police Chief Daniel Outlaw and other command staff held a private meeting with community members today who were invited to view that video before it was publicly released. I talked with the chief afterwards.
We went into this meeting today, again, not knowing what to expect, knowing that it could possibly stir the pot, knowing that it was a huge gamble, but doing what we could to show that we were committed to being open when we could and being willing to listen to some not so easy and difficult conversations.
That video was also shared privately with Kimmons' family, along with information provided during the grand jury proceedings. Some of Kimmons' family then began the protests at the spot where the shooting happened. They strongly believe the shooting was not justified.
He's running through the cars with his hands up. After he gets shot like 3 times, his hands is up, like, you know, but he's still running. And they're still, like, just shooting. Like, after about 8 shots, he falls towards the ground.
Now, there is still a lot more in the way of questions and a lot more answers that will be in the grand jury testimony transcripts. Those will be released likely at some point, but it won't be for several weeks. Live in downtown Portland, Lisa Balick, Koin 6 News.
And earlier today, our photographer was out at the protests when he saw the brother of Patrick Kimmons get hit by a pickup truck. He says he was trying to help get the protesters out of the street when this happened.
The truck is like breaks through the crowd, so the crowd disperses, and I'm like, whoa! And when I stop like this, he still just boom. He just boom, and he knocked me back like 4 feet, and I'm like, whoa! And he come again and boom, knocked me out the way.
Police arrested 55-year-old Mark Dickerson, who you see right there. He is charged with assault, reckless endangering, and reckless driving.
In the street earlier today, Portland police say a driver hit one of the protesters. Fox 12 was there as a pickup hit the man who did not need medical treatment there at the scene. Now, officers stopped the driver about a block away and arrested him. Police have identified him as 55-year-old Mark Dickerson. He faces charges of assault in the 4th degree, reckless endanger, and reckless driving. Police say this all happened as they were working to develop a plan to direct traffic. They had asked family and friends of Patrick Kimmons to go on the sidewalk, but they continued to block traffic.
This is a side-by-side look at 2 different camera angles that captured the officer-involved shooting around 3 a.m. on September 30th. The police report says officers were monitoring gang activity in the area of 3rd Avenue and Harvey Milk Street when they witnessed a fight in the parking lot. From this angle, you can see police lights and 2 officers walking across the parking lot. From the other angle, you can see a group of people standing in the lot. Pay attention to what's happening in the circle. One of the people in the group is 27-year-old Patrick Kimmons. There's no audio, so we can't hear what was said. But as the group starts to move, notice the 2 officers walk into the frame at the bottom right of your screen. The group then scatters as the man police say is Kimmons pulls out a gun. Here it is in real time. Then I'll slow it down. That white flash you can see in the middle of the circle is Kimmons firing the gun. Police say Kimmons fired 5 shots, injuring 2 other people involved in the fight. Again, at the bottom right of your screen, you can see the officers just feet away watching this unfold. Kimmons then runs toward the officers away from the group, and the officers run toward him with their guns drawn. Witnesses said they heard an officer yell, "Stop, stop, drop it." But you can see Kimmons continue running past the officers, who then both start shooting. Kimmons makes it past the car, then falls to the ground. Officers fired 12 rounds. 9 of those hit Kimmons. Police said they found multiple firearms in the area after the shooting, including a revolver next to Kimmons. An officer who rode in the ambulance with Kimmons said he took off his oxygen mask and said, "Don't let me die, bro. I'm gonna die." Kimmons died at the hospital.
Portland police will now conduct an internal review of the case. Once that's finished, it will go before the police review board. Back to you.
Patrick Kimmons' family is furious over the decision. They're demanding the 2 officers who shot and killed Kimmons be fired. And they say there's more video that shows his hands were up and he had thrown the gun to the ground. KGW's Nina Melhoff has been at a protest all day that shut down streets for hours. And what's the latest tonight, Nina?
Well, Laurel, all the streets around the courthouse and here at City Hall are back open. By 3 o'clock that happened when police asked those protesters to move out of the street and onto the sidewalk, and they did. Everyone has gone home, but there was one arrest today. 1 person was hurt, and Patrick Kimmons' family believes police murdered their son.
No justice, no peace. They shot this young man down.
No justice, no peace! Traffic on Southwest 4th at the courthouse where the verdict came down stopped by only about a dozen protesters.
You murdered my son. You murdered my baby.
A mother, Latha Winston, raw with emotion and a bullhorn, crying and yelling at times, torn apart by losing her youngest son, Patrick Kimmons.
This is a peacefully rally. We don't want no destruction. We don't want the destroyment. We don't want to destroy nobody else. My son was taken from me, so I know how it is. I know how I feel. We just letting them know, no justice, no peace.
The DA's office showing her all the video today of her son's death. She says there's more angles of it that haven't been publicly released.
You can't see him shooting in the video. You can't see a gun in the video. You can't see no firing in the video. You see the police firing, but you don't see anything else.
Judge for yourself. You see police officers walk into the frame on the bottom right, already on patrol. Then you see the bright flash of Patrick Kimmons' gun fire toward people he was in an argument with. Police see it happen and confront Kimmons, shooting him. Family see it differently.
He's not a threat, you know what I'm saying? He has no gun in his hand, as y'all see. He's not a threat. He's running toward you guys, yes, but he's not a threat.
That's Patrick's brother. He was hit by a car during the protest. Watch as this truck hits him with an audible thud, throwing him back several feet. He's okay, but sore. Then we watched as the driver, Mark Dickerson, was handcuffed a few blocks away. He was arrested for assault and reckless driving. Now, it used to be that video in a case like this wasn't released for a long time afterward, but the thinking is now release it to the public, get it out there. It could possibly ease some tensions.
You serious?
Got to be a better way.
I guess that was worth seeing.
What? That's all you have to say?